It struck me this morning as I was reading some of your notes that things are in danger of perhaps of getting a little bit circular in terms of who's backstopping this whole story right now. It seems that to some extent the IMF helps Greece because they know the ECB is there, and the ECB helps Greece because they know the IMF is there. Is that something we just sort of take for granted, or is that an area of concern?
Well, perhaps we have, but I think it's a huge area of concern, and particularly the role that the ECB are playing is absolutely crucial. Now, if we go back to Cyprus a couple of years ago, the ECB told Cyprus that they needed to get a bailout plan in place before they would continue with emergency lending. Now, if we take the situation in Greece, well, we had a lot of headlines about the Greek not paying the IMF on June the 30th, but actually that was the same day that the bailout ran out. Now, that's really crucial because right now Greece have got no bailout in place, and I think perhaps more emphasis needs to be drawn to that, because the ECB had an emergency meeting last night and it decided not to change any of the regime for Greece as far as the ECB is concerned. But, of course, we know that there's this massive payment, I think it's about £3.5 billion, due to the ECB on July the 20th. If they don't pay that, then that could force the ECB's hand, and at that point, if the ECB decide not to, or to make it much more difficult for the Greek banks, well, the Greek banks could be collapsing. So that, I think, the ECB's relationship in this is utterly crucial.
And how is the ECB justifying its support, its continuing support of the Greek banking sector, given that that bailout has expired? And if we understand how they're justifying it, then maybe we understand when they stop supporting the Greek banking sector.
Well, again, I mean, the mandate, if you like, it's been fairly vague. They could, I suppose, if they wanted to, look at the terms of the mandate and say, well, there's no bailout in place, we'll stop with emergency lending. I mean, they froze it at Friday's level, I think 89 billion last week. But they could, if they wanted to, cause complete calamity for the Greek banks. And I think the fact that it's that risk is the reason why they've decided not to make any amendments this week, because they know their decisions really could force Greece one way or the other, because ultimately if the liquidity from the banks really were to dry up, and when we know it's the capital controls, it's already at really bad conditions for many consumers, many small businesses. If this continues, well, at some point the Greek central bank may be forced to print another currency. So the ECB's positioning in this, utterly crucial.